Can everybody hear me? Everybody? I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees. Regular meeting today is Wednesday, December 12th, 2018. The time is 7:01. Please pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please note the roll.
Noted.
Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Was there anything added, Clerk Wright?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add?
Nothing to add.
Moved and supported. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Been moved and supported. Any other questions? Anyone? Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Durr.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Public comment on items not on the agenda. Any public comment? Yes, sir.
I have an item to be introduced. Excuse me. My name is Edward J. McCabe, and I'm an attorney. And I have been retained by a group in your area to represent the landowners in the agricultural and suburban farm zoning districts, known as the Hunt County agricultural segment. They have standing to petition for an ordinance text amendment, and tonight they will hand in that petition. Currently, the township is acting as the petitioner for the zoning text amendments and has committed to these landowners that these extremely important text amendments would be done. However, apparently a period of over 2 years has elapsed, and they still do not have the protection that they so desperately sought with regard to the zoning amendments. Interference and overreach by Supervisor Bill Dunn and the Deputy Supervisor Cushing have caused what they believe is an unacceptable delay in putting these amendments in front of the Board of Trustees. We note that to date, the Planning Commission has failed to seek the input of the very person on the Planning Commission that represents this particular segment. And they are prepared to act and will be submitting to you today a formal application for the ordinance text amendments that meets the ordinance requirements. We request that there be a waiver of fees, as you've already identified this as being important and have committed to doing this. By allowing this group to take over the role of applicant, the residents of this segment can be assured that they are properly represented and that the entire township will benefit from the protection and preservation of the character of the northeast section of the township. The application is from an overwhelming number of property owners in that segment. The application rather amazingly details text changes that are necessary in the zoning ordinance and the reasoning for those changes. You, as the Board of Trustees, are charged with setting the fees for these types of requests and have the ability and authority to waive the fees. You can ensure that the rights of the citizens of this segment are preserved. That's the first item. There is a second part of it. And in dealing with municipalities around the state, including the rather nefarious City Council in Detroit, I very much understand why they want to bring this up and why they want it followed up on. The residents in this segment would like to detail the violations of their rights as they see them as residents of this township in having ordinance, law, and bylaws violated and not receiving fair treatment and impartial treatment by the supervisor and deputy supervisor, who apparently controls the building department. Also acts as zoning administrator, creates the agendas, public notices, meetings, and is the person that these residents are forced to deal with in planning and zoning matters. The list of complaints that they request be investigated and corrected, and their complaints regarding their personal experiences with their interactions and with the township are very serious. And there is a long list of them. As I say, I have not seen the like except for Detroit, which is not something you want to really be compared with. The list includes violation of the Michigan Planning Act, failure to identify segments of the community, and appointing the most experienced member to the Planning Commission. Land division that was deficient in size and width in violation of ordinance and state law, failure to correct the land division error, failure to respond to written citizen complaints regarding land division error. Subsequent land divisions were allowed as a result of the error and would not have been allowed otherwise. Submission of lot configuration that does not match the lot approved by the township, and failure of the township to respond when notice and proof of this discrepancy was provided to them. Issuance of and continuation of a building permit on the property after the township was notified that the lot does not match the lot description. Failure to hold required public hearing on a private road application. Failure to remedy the deficiency of failing to hold a required public hearing. Signed and submitted complaints not responded to or acted on. Violation of the Planning Act, which prohibits an employee from membership on the Planning Commission and requires that the building official be an employee. Failure to hold meetings open to the public. Failure to post and publish required notices. Failure to provide statutory notice for postings of public meetings. Failure to have documents available for inspection at the township office during regular business hours. Failure to create required agendas. Failure to create required minutes. Minutes that are deficient, incorrect, misleading, or missing. Altering minutes in violation of the Open Meetings Act. Failure to post minutes and agendas on the website as required. Approving minutes which knowingly do not comply with the law. Violation of the bylaws. Failure to follow ordinances. Failure to follow Michigan-compiled laws and public acts. Incompatible office. Conflict of interest. Undue influence and interference in planning commission matters by supervisor and deputy supervisor. Alternation of public records with the attempt to defraud by the deputy supervisor. Failure to provide protection from harassment and retaliation against whistleblowers. Failure to provide due process and follow law, policy, and ordinance when written or public accusations are made against a commissioner or by a public officer or township employee, and failure to investigate complaints. Misuse of police and creation of false alarm by the supervisor's office. Misuse of position and authority by the supervisor's office. Supervisor and deputy supervisor representing their opinions as that of the township board without the authority to do so. Failure of the planning commission to respond to citizen requests. Repeated requests to discuss these concerns in a properly noticed public meeting have been ignored or denied, and planning commission meetings are canceled for months at a time instead of addressing ordinance changes. This group asks that the board protect the interest of this segment of the township and the township as a whole by stopping the interference of the supervisor's office, hiring a competent building administrator who is not the supervisor or deputy supervisor, keeping the current agricultural planning commissioner member on the planning commission, waive the fees for our zoning text amendment application, and direct the planning commission to schedule a public hearing for January to follow the law, ordinance, and bylaws. That's a lot to swallow. But it's a very serious matter. And I, in going over the material that I was supplied, was amazed at the work that people have put in to counter what they clearly believe is outrageous behavior with at least two of the officials of the township. Now, somewhere we have the petition that I would like to hand. We have here a petition with, it's a masterpiece of actual work. And one should be very cautious in not ignoring it, because people who put this much work into these issues are clearly serious about it and are clearly willing to continue.
Give it to the
Clerk.
clerk.
Yep, thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, sir. On items not on the agenda.
Pardon me?
On items not on the agenda.
Not on the agenda.
Thank you.
It
Come on up.
relates to what Mr. McKay talked about.
Come on up.
Good evening. Jim Eunice, that's me. We live at Oxford Township on Gardner Road and have for 32 years. I must bring forward again to you, Bill Dunn, a major health and safety issue that the township departments and committees have turned a blind eye to repeatedly. It started because of improper and lack of zoning rules and regulations in the agriculture and residential zone in Oxford Township, Northeast Zone. Taxpayers and citizens have pursued the proposal changes for some 2 years from Oxford Township. Due to the above and previous speakers tonight, I will inform you and Oxford committees that at 3921 Barber, Oxford Township, there's an ongoing health and safety issue that will become catastrophic. We gave you a full professional environmental study that showed excessive lead levels, and it showed in some areas over 100 times the legal limit, even though the present owners had another study done. It is scientifically impossible without significant remediation that this property cannot be unsafe. Numerous people look to buy at 3921 Barber, which is a 118-acre parcel, but all stopped when they learned of lead levels and wouldn't buy at any price. You are all on notice again that you are endangering children and creating the next Flint lead crisis. I want to show the record that you will willfully ignored these facts and are personally liable for all them of harm and done to these children and others. It falls on deaf ears. Every time we bring this up here, it just gets swept away. It's time to do something about it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Jenny Benson. I live at 3270 Barber Road in Oxford. Give me a little leeway
You
because
got it.
I know that Mr. Dunn wants Callie Rosner off the board of Planning Commission, and that he's picked somebody else. He's handpicked every other person on the planning board but Callie. Callie has been a dissenting voice because she's actually speaking for us in the community, not just going along with whatever agenda has been told to them to follow. I know he's picked Meg Knopf. I have absolutely nothing against the Knopfs. They've been good neighbors. Meg's father-in-law lives on the next road behind me. But I know that they're heavy into developing and that they are also pro-hop, which was amazing that you could find about the only people in the neighborhood that aren't against the House of Providence moving into the neighborhood. But I guess Susan McCullough, that's in the office at the township here, is friends with Meg. That's probably how she got on. Susan McCullough and Deanna Cushings have both been on public Facebook pages, I guess you'd call them, and made public posts about the people in my community, in my area of the Hunt, being elitists, being racists, being bigots, that we're awful people because we are against the House of Providence, moving in and destroying our property values and changing our entire neighborhood. HOP couldn't get township approval to have more than 6 kids in their residential facilities that they want to build. I think originally they wanted to build a big dormitory or something, and Deanna Cushings guided them and said, no, we can't build that there, but if you divide up the property, you can build one of these homes on each of these pieces of property. So they're planning this compound in our neighborhood. They've built one building so far. It's 8,300 some odd square feet, single story. And it's obviously no garage. Doesn't look like a home. It looks like a commercial building in Rochester. Doesn't look like something that fits into our neighborhood. They're planning on, they could potentially build 5 of them on their property. And now they want 6, they're allowed to have 6 kids in a group home, which these people are not group home, they are a licensed child caring institution, but they were afraid that they couldn't get special use permit if they called themselves an institution. The big difference there between a group home and an institution is hundreds of dollars a day per child. So these additional 4 kids that they want in each of these houses is over $1,000 a day that they'll be getting off of each one of these homes. We found out about a piece of legislation that HOP is pushing through with the help of John Riley to get it taken out of local control and have a state law made to allow 10 kids in each of these homes instead of the 6 that they've been allowing. And imagine our surprise when we got up to Lansing, a group of us went to try to speak against this bill being passed, found out that Mr. Dunn had written on behalf of the entire community of Oxford a letter saying that Oxford approves of this bill and we have no problem with this bill being passed. And I haven't seen anything on any agendas with any public notice to ask if we all approve this. So I'm wondering how he could do that too. I'm really having a hard time believing that any township official would want to give up the ability to have control over how many people are in those homes and just have it made a state law. We found out while we were up there also that Bill Dunn had apparently been talking to the House of Providence's lobbyist. They hired their own lobbyist, and that's how we found out that Callie wasn't going to be reappointed to the board, that he had already chosen someone else that was going to be more friendly to them. course, it went straight through committee and straight to the full house and passed there as well the next day. But I just think it's pretty unethical for Callie to find out that way through somebody else's lobbyist, that's how she wasn't going to be reappointed. Your behavior is unprofessional, not to say unethical. You haven't listened at all to any of us in the community. You've discounted everything we've said. We've been asking you, as part of your job, to help maintain our property values, to listen to the people that live here that have been paying your salaries. And most of the people on my block have lived here. I've lived here 31 years. My neighbor Richard Kopsky, that died last fall, had lived here since 1952. Moors across the street have lived there for over 50 years on their acreage. We all have lived in this little community. We like it the way it is. We don't want it overdeveloped. We don't want these institutions put in. One of those hop homes doubles the population of our block, and they can put in 5 of them potentially. We've asked for over 2 years on the planning board to get ordinance changed to stop things like large-scale agricultural machinery operations from being allowed in. There's a whole bunch of things that don't belong in our neighborhood. We've tried to get the ordinance changed. Finally, on a day that Callie had given notice, Callie, that represents our area of the community, had given notice that she wasn't going to be there because she was going to be at training. That's when, miraculously, the board decides to talk about our ordinance change, when she has no input on it. And the only reason that we found out about it, since it wasn't posted, none of it was made public, somebody in our group had just happened to go to the township to get the agenda for that day, and that's how we all found out that we should even be there to talk about it. We talked about it at that planning board. We asked them to look into it. They said that they had to go back to the review board and talk about it, but that they would talk to us about it the following week. After that, Mr. Dunn canceled the next 4 meetings in a row, said that we had nothing to talk about and no new business. I don't feel represented here. I feel really, really disgusted and disappointed in our local community. I've lived here all these years in ignorant bliss, apparently, of what was really going on in the township. And I hope that you'll address some of these issues, because they are serious issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Larry Rosner. I live at 1830 Cobblestone Lane, Oxford, Michigan. I've appeared between Planning Commission, ZBA, and this board many times. And I'm not going to be as kind as some of the people have been. This is the book. I've lived here 15 years. This is the planning master plan, July 14, 2005. In that plan, on page 3, I'll just read it. Retain large residential patterns in the northwest and northeast corners of the township to maintain and promote equestrian operations central to the identification of Oxford. Here's the book. That's the book. 2005. From 2005, and I just put a few of the times I've addressed the various boards of this township and ignored. Sorry. This is one of the meetings, just as a reference. These are all the people that attended. I went through in some of the meetings that I've gone to, I've talked for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, and my comments were put together in 6 or 7 words. Again, the deputy of, our township doesn't live in our township, which is legal, but there's a lot of interpretation. And when I moved here 15 years ago, I really tried to get people's attention. And I've got copies of the minutes, the meetings that I attended. Was I listened to? No. It just, and my comments from when this meeting went on, when I talk to the neighbors, they say, it doesn't matter whether you go or not, Larry. They're going to do what they want to do. The overall, the current action, Planning Commission, Board, is guided by the person at the top. And there's been enough changes in the Board and the Board itself and the Planning Commission that just by nature of attrition, things would have happened unless the persons or the person at the top is guiding it. So we fought, I have, from 2013 when I moved here, and made no progress, really. So it just developed into this, and that's a shame. Yet, when we look at the House of Providence, which was supported by some people on this there, it went through really quick. Didn't take any, and this book, we all know that this book, without the ordinances that we were asking for, this book, the plan, it doesn't mean anything. Because without an ordinance, you can't stop anything. So consequently, the stall on the ordinance is very serious. We still don't have ordinances. I still, and all the people in Cobblestone Lane can still have a campground 75 feet from our background, our yard, our backyard. We've asked for things that haven't been impossible. Thank you.
Anyone else? Let's move on to Fire Department. Paramedic, oh, I'm sorry. Come on up, sir.
Still on 6, or are you moving on?
No.
Still on 6. Bruce Myers, 3100 Delano, Oxford. I've appeared before the board a number of times and in front of the Planning Commission many, many times. I've addressed a lot of the problems that are on the list, and nothing has been done about it. Nobody's ever acted. The illegal lot split was brought up probably about a year ago at Planning Commission. Again, nothing was done. I've brought it up in front of this board, and nothing was ever done. Problems are continuing because of inaction. I just wanted to briefly speak here. House Bill 6499 came through in Lansing, and Jenny Benson just mentioned something about it. And a number of people from this community thought it was important enough to go up there and represent the township. Basically, this is a change in the law that affects the entire state, not just Oxford Township, but the entire state. This makes it so that they can, any township in the state can increase the number of people from 6 to 10. This includes the child facilities, the child institutions, the halfway houses, the criminal houses. You can have a house with 10 sex offenders living now on properties of 20 acres or more. So it's not just anything local. And this was something that the Michigan Township Association has basically put a letter out saying that they do not support this. And you can imagine my surprise when our supervisor, Dunn, wrote a letter basically stating that he'll do whatever they want. And, I mean, there's a little twist in the wording, but bottom line here is, did you as a board authorize him to write a letter supporting something like this? Because this takes control of this type of facility away from any of the supervisors, and you have no control of that anymore. Do you know what you want living next to you? Now, right now, Jenny mentioned House of Providence, so that's one use that it could come into. But what about all the other halfway houses, facilities, the prisons, and so forth that will be put in the communities, that the communities have no control of anymore? Is that something you really want? Is that something you authorize your supervisor to write a letter about? I don't think so. If you did, I really feel bad for everybody here.
My name is Paul Warfield. I and my wife Kathy moved out here. We're recent arrivals to the area. We looked long and hard. We read about your area and we liked it. Since I've been here, I must say I've changed my mind because of everything that I've read about, what's going on, and these are facts. You know they're facts. You guys stood up and pledged allegiance to that flag, and one of the parts of that is justice, and I did not see that in anything I've read. We will not stop until all these matters are settled in one way, shape, or form. And I pray that you understand what will be going on here in regards to these matters, what we're going to have to do. We have no choice. Now, it's not yours to give. It's yours to supervise over and act as trustees in the proper manner based on the laws. And again, what other people have already said, that hasn't been happening. Again, we're new to the area, so I wish I would have known about this because I might have had second thoughts about this, moving in this area. So we're represented better by Callie, who now is being dismissed from the Planning Commission. We're better represented by her because she's very knowledgeable in the area in regards to municipal laws and so on and so forth. And she's been good at talking about it. The only reason I can think that she's not retained on there is because someone is afraid. Good luck to you.
I am going to say one thing, that there's a lot of misstatements out there, and they will be corrected. Not at this time, and I'm not going to get into argument. I'm just making this statement. I will just do one. House of Providence. I have never talked. I was introduced to James Dunn at that counter. I have had no contact with anyone from House of Providence. Never been to anything related to them. Never spoke for them, about them, or anything. That's never, ever happened.
Deanna has Valley up in Lansing.
I have not talked. I'm just telling you, I'm not getting in an argument with you now. I'm just telling you that's totally false, along with a lot of other things. We're going to move on. We will answer.
Deanna's thick as thieves with her, so
I can't answer for Callie.
You are the
she works for you.
supervisor
Excuse me.
for you.
Excuse me. Let's move on to firefighter paramedic. Chief?
Evening, board members. Earlier this year, we promoted firefighter paramedic racer to our new lieutenant EMS coordinator. By doing that, it created a vacancy on the shift. We are now proposing to fill that vacant position. We went through the testing process, hiring interviews and everything, and with that, the candidate that meets all of our requirements and that we are moving forward to be a new hire is Joshua Plyler. He is a paid-on-call firefighter with Grand Blanc Fire right now. He's a paramedic with a private ambulance company up in the Flint area for quite a few years, and is our recommendation to hire Josh Plyler as a firefighter paramedic with a start date of 12/17/2018.
I move to approve the hiring of Joshua Plyler to fill a vacant firefighter paramedic position with the Oxford Fire Department, be effective December 17th, 2018. a starting wage for the memorandum of agreement in the Township of Oxford and Oxford Firefighters Union, IAFF Local 4763, modifying the wages of the current collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Yes, Jack?
Yeah, this is after signing the memorandum of understanding, correct?
Which has been already done.
It's already done. He
Yep.
gets the wages.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
The only question I have is a little bit of his background, why you decided to select him over others.
Part of the applicants that we had didn't have all the requirements that we did to do, or that we needed. We've talked to the chief from the Grand Blanc Fire Department, checked the background recommendations from the ambulance companies and the recommendations from his work and his quality of care with the patients in that area, so that's why we put him at the top of our list.
Do you know if he's going to be moving here at all?
I'm staying right here, I'll let everybody, this is Josh,
Good.
not to put you on the spot.
That's all right. Good evening. Thank you for the approval. I really appreciate it. It's always been my goal to
Has it been approved?
become a full-time firefighter.
You're not it yet.
As far as moving to the area right now, my girlfriend and I have talked about it, but I just bought a house in Grand Blanc back in January. We're doing we're fixing it up right now, so it's not, at this time, we're not really planning on moving out to the Oxford area.
Chief, we have several full-time firefighters, or a few full-time firefighters that are not residents of this township. Is that correct?
Correct.
He shows up for a shift.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
See you on Monday.
All right? Thank you very much.
Let's move on to the shift sergeant vacancy.
With the promotion of Sergeant Franz to Lieutenant Fire Inspector, that now created a new open sergeant position. We posted the position to the available qualified applicants, which we had 3 that applied for it. We went through the written testing process. We went through the oral boards this week, process on that. And with the scores tabulated and with the recommendations from the oral interview panel, it is my recommendation that Justin Templeton be promoted to the position of sergeant.
I move to promote Justin Templeton as shift sergeant from shift firefighter for the Oxford Fire Department, effective January 1st, 2019, at a wage as determined under Article 13, promotions and the memorandum of agreement between the Township of Oxford, Oakland County, Michigan, and the Oxford Firefighters Union International Association of Firefighters Local 4763, modifying the wages of their current collective bargaining agreement.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions? Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Purchase of new vehicle.
Purchasing a new vehicle. For 2019, in the budget, we have it to replace our 2006 Durango, which is the vehicle that our Lieutenant Fire Inspector uses on his daily inspections around the community. Unit now has 97,942 miles on it, with very large rust holes all up and down the sides of it. Had multiple issues with, which most Dodge Durangos do, as far as starting all the time. We have looked through the State of Michigan My Bid deal, and with the dealer for that has a contract for the entire state of Michigan, is Berger Chevrolet in Grand Rapids. The state bid price for this vehicle is $36,315 for a 2019 Chevrolet four-wheel drive Tahoe. It'll be my recommendation that the contract be awarded to Berger Chevrolet for the bid price of $36,315. The expenditure would be from 2019 funds, account number 213.357.970.000.
I move to approve the purchase of a 2019 Chevrolet Tahoe from Berger Chevrolet of $36,315. This $36,315 amount is to be expended to the 2019 Fire Fund, account number 213-357-970.000, vehicle purchase. Further, Fire Chief Peter Schultz is authorized to sign any necessary purchase documents on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Yes.
Does that include the lights, chief?
No, the lights and graphics will be afterwards when we get it back.
Okay,
More than likely, delivery won't be probably till May.
okay, very good.
Roll call.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
So for the board, we will have a 2006 Durango, only been driven to church on Sundays, nice and clean for sale that we will be listing for sale. So we'll be taking
Dutifully
bids on
called
it.
Swiss cheese.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Only highway miles too,
Yes.
in Florida.
Unfinished business, Squaw Lake, Clear Lake Special Assessment District, Resolution Number 3. Curtis?
Yes, this is the third of the projected four steps in the process of the SAD. This is for the Clear Lake, Squaw Lake. They're renewing the SAD for a 10-year period. This resolution indicates that the supervisor's assessment roll has been received and to schedule a public hearing. So with that, I move to approve Resolution Number 3, preparation of proposed Squaw Lake, Clear Lake Special Assessment Roll, and scheduling a public hearing to implement an aquatic weed control special assessment district program for Squaw Lake and Clear Lake, and schedule a public hearing for the Oxford Township Board of Trustees regular meeting on Wednesday, January 9, 2019 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter at the Oxford Township Meeting Room, 300 Dunlap Road, Oxford, Michigan, to hear and consider any oral or written objections submitted by any interested persons with respect to the special assessment roll.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. On to the employee handbook. I do have a couple changes on the handbook. One is basically for jury duty. In the handbook says, after 5 days, the person that does the jury duty will not get paid. I don't believe that should be like that. If they answer the call to be a jurist, and there's a murder trial, and it goes on for a couple weeks, they should not be penalized. I just think it's awful. I'd like to see that changed. Also, go ahead, Jack.
Page 19, there's some pretty ambiguous writings in there about alcohol in your vehicle. Right now, if you went out to a vehicle and found alcohol in anybody's car on this property, they'd be breaking the law according to this handbook, whether they're an employee or not. So it needs to be specifically cleared that somebody is making an accusation of drinking on the job that you would allow an employee's car to be searched. Right now, it's up a little higher, I think. It says, I may have read this wrong, but my page 19 is the paper copy I had.
Oh,
That's probably not the same. It said, no alcohol or drug rule. It's intent of Oxford Township to provide a drug-free, safe, and secure work environment for our employees. To ensure safe and efficient workplace, Oxford Township will strictly enforce the following rules. No employee shall possess, distribute, or use by impaired alcohol. No employee shall possess, distribute. Where did it say that? I read it. It said that if you can't have booze in your car on township property. If you go down a little farther. I wish I had that paper copy back.
We can fix that.
Yeah. Pass that down for me, please. I just wanted it looked at to make sure that we didn't get somebody in the audience in trouble for having a Coley in the cooler. You can move on. If you've got other to list, go ahead.
That's the only couple I
Is
have.
that under searches? Is that what he's looking at?
Is that under searches, Jack?
No, I was reading this on the couch, so.
before or after surgery?
After. Let me get back to you guys, go ahead. You're
We're
gonna make-
almost through, I think. I don't know if there's anything else.
Well, I just asked that you take a look at that once it's found, along with your recommendation, Bill.
Anybody got any corrections? What's that? I'm ready to act with those, subject to those changes. If everybody agrees on the jury duty.
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree with that.
I would agree with that.
I move to approve the Oxford Township Employee Handbook with the changes to the jury duty as detailed by Supervisor Dunn, and also a review of the concerns of Trustee Curtis regarding alcohol on premise.
Been moved,
Second.
seconded. Questions? Let's do a roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, no. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
No.
Motion carries.
Passes.
I'll make a motion that notice is given to Paychex HR Solutions that Oxford Township chooses to exercise its 30-day notification option on item 16 and terminate the contract with Paychex as of 1/12/19.
Support.
Moved and supported. Everybody understand that? The ones that did the handbook?
Yeah, why?
We've already done everything we need them for.
We had them just to do the handbook.
The handbook?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't understand that, all right.
So we're just terminating our contract with 30 days' notice.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Elkview Estates, deeding roads to the Road Commission.
Board members, as you know, we've talked about this a little while now. We're to the point where we're able to deed the road over to the Road Commission. We currently have the issue where we're deeding the portion that the Road Commission needs. The township is maintaining ownership of that 4-foot strip and the other 1 foot, depending how we want to handle that in the future.
Any questions? Motion? Did you?
We are hanging on?
Right now, until the homeowner association gets formed, and then we'll figure out how we want to handle it from there.
So you're just turning over the 66 feet.
I thought we discussed this and decided to turn over the whole on the...
No. Well,
Okay.
if you've got a question on it, let's bring it up now.
Well, it was my understanding that the county was going to get all of the road, all of that property.
Well, the issue is that one strip allows the township then to have control on who's going to access Bull Run from the Baldwin side.
Right.
Remember how the board made a offer to another gentleman? That offer
Right.
wasn't acted upon.
All right.
I'll make a motion to direct Treasurer Joseph G. Ferrari to formally deed parcel number P0418-100-075 to the Road Commission of Oakland County for the purpose of making both Elkview Drive and Bull Run Road public roads.
Support.
Moved and supported. All in favor signify by saying,
I want a roll call on.
try roll call then.
Trustee Payne.
No.
Trustee Curtis.
No.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. On to appointments to the Planning Commission.
Good evening. My name is Diane Kangas, and I live in Horse Hunt Country.
Which township?
I am at 5895 Hempstead Road, Oxford, Michigan, 48371.
Is that
Mr.
Addison?
Excuse me?
Is that Addison?
That would be Dryden. It came to our attention the other day. I am here on behalf of the Metamora Equine Conservation Alliance, and as well as representing several people in horse hunt country. MECA, the Metamora Equine Conservation Alliance, 3 members were able to obtain a meeting with you, Mr. Dunn, a couple of days ago, and the purpose of that meeting was to ask you to take into consideration candidates that we feel would represent horse country and the specialized needs of our area and all that entails for a planning commissioner. And they proposed that to you, and some of the feedback was that you were flat out arrogant and very defiant, that you were not open to entertain anybody else's ideas for a candidate for that nomination position because you had already made up your mind. And you said you made up your mind with a gal named Meg Knopf, and you said she's in horse country, and I encourage you gals that once she is on the planning commission, that you go knock on her door and warmly welcome her. Those were your words that you said to these three gals. So we were highly offended by that, obviously, and I'm here on the behalf to tell you that we also proposed to you, we said we have a candidate that we think would be great if Callie Rosner were not to be reinstated, and she also is one of our candidates. And the other candidate is a gal named Amanda Shelton. And Amanda Shelton, they actually wanted to give you her resume, but of course you were very closed-minded to it. So I just want to tell you a little bit about her. She owns 120 acres on Oakwood Road in Oxford Township, and her husband also own a home on Oxford Road, right down the road in Addison Township. She's highly vested in the Hunt Country area. She's well-liked. She's an attorney by trade, and she owns 2 children, and she is here to stay, and she's a big part of our community. What did I just say?
Owns 2 children.
She owns her children. In a way, she does. Legally, you could say she does. So with that said, we proposed that to you, and you were very closed-minded, as I say, and you said, well, she can't even be on the Planning Commission because she doesn't legally live in Oxford. And our point is she has plans to build, and we went away and found out that actually she is allowed to be on the Planning Commission. Under Michigan law, one member of the Planning Commission does not have to be a qualified elector of that municipality, but only a qualified elector of another municipality. There are no Oxford ordinances, as you stated, that said that Amanda could not be eligible. She is eligible. So we offer up Amanda Shelton or Callie Rosner to be considered as the Hunt Country, Horse Country candidate for the Planning Commission. Both of these women are highly intelligent, smart. They represent our area well. And so we would like you to take one of these nominations and go to your Planning Commission and make a recommendation to them that they vote on either one of these women to be on the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Reading again. This fits in with the earlier remarks that I made.
Is it going to be shorter?
Yes, much shorter. Essentially, it's pointing out that the Michigan Planning Enabling Act specifically says that you shall have Planning Commission members appointed to represent segments of the community. Mm-hmm. And they list segments: agricultural, natural resources, recreation, public health, government, so commerce. And the township trustees are charged under that act with identifying those segments and finding appropriate people to represent those segments. Essentially, this is related to the work that Callie Rosner has done on the petition and stuff that I earlier handed to you. She well represents that Hunt section, and this was a petition that residents or interested parties signed with regard to just requesting the Planning Commission reappoint her. That's all.
Okay, let me get to that.
How does the audience get recognized when we don't speak as a block, that we all are in sync with the statements of the future people?
That'd be fine. No, I heard you clapping. That clapping is good enough. Let me get back to my,
I think we should all stand up, that we are for Callie to be reappointed, or Amanda.
One or the other.
yeah, I don't want to hear it over and over again.
That's your job.
Pardon me?
That's your job.
You can raise your hand, please.
We are the constituents. That's your job to listen to us.
But I can have you come up here if you want to talk.
We can all go up and talk. I mean, we will each go up and talk if we would like.
Yep. My name is John Urema. We're at 3401 Jonathan Road in Oxford, and I support Amanda or Callie to represent us. We moved to this area from Rochester because of the horse country. I work all over the country. Everyone knows about Metamora and about this area because of the horse country. So there's only a few horse countries around. There's one in Monticello, Virginia. There's one in Chicago. They have these wonderful areas that keep the value of the properties up because of the horse country. So to cut the properties to 5 acres or to change what we have is, I think, would be devastating to the area. So I think it's a very, very important and actually imperative that we have somebody on the board, on the Planning Commission, that represents our interests. And either Amanda, who is very, very sharp and represents us, or Callie, someone that can at least tell us, hey, there's a meeting, hey, there's a vote, hey, there's something happening that we don't know about, I think is important. So that's what I'm going to say.
Okay, let's take care of this right here. I'm recommending the following member for reappointment to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term commencing January 1st, 2018, expiring December 31st, 2021. Mr. Michael Young, Mr. Thomas Berger.
I think
That's your motion?
That's my motion.
Support.
It's 2019.
That's 2018.
2019.
Oh, January, that's 2019, I'm sorry. That's what it's, oops.
Do this.
I don't think we were done talking about that.
I'm talking about, there's nothing in here about Callie or the other one.
I'd also like
We're
to
making
speak
it
about
heard
Mr. Berger.
tonight.
Well, it's going to be happening.
I'd also like
Please, I'd like you to raise your hands, please.
Isn't he an employee of the township?
and therefore ineligible
He is-
to be on the planning board?
We will answer all these questions. If you've submitted a bunch of questions for us. Attorney, please come up here. They will be answered in due time and corrected.
For some reason, I doubt that. But I do know a few tricks about subpoenaing people who violate their statements. You should not, because it is against the law, appoint the individual who is a member of the staff, the employees of the township.
He's not staff.
He's employed by the township.
He's employed-
That's correct. Please raise your hand. I'm not an
That's an
attorney.
employee.
I have an opinion letter that it's not a problem.
Who the hell did you get the opinion letter from?
Please don't swear.
Yes, sir,
Where in
I
the
will not
world-
swear. I will
where
not
in the
even,
world
I will not
we
even
got it
say
from
what
our-
I think of.
We got it from our township attorney.
Hmm.
And Callie has she has the letter.
Should be interesting. I thank you for your
We will
consideration.
answer all your questions.
Again, thank you.
Okay.
I look forward to perhaps you answering those questions in a different forum.
Whatever form you would like. Okay, I'm going to do this I'm going to scrub what I did before, and I'm going to move to reappoint Thomas Berger and Michael Young to the Charter Township of Oxford Planning Commission for a 3-year term commencing January 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2021, and no, and that's it, right there.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Dur?
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
I'm going, Why does this keep going off right here? I'm going to give you a little background on how I came to appoint someone. I've done the same thing through a whole bunch of people on the planning commission. I decide whether to reappoint or not reappoint. I decided not to reappoint about a month ago. I was introduced to Meg, and she represents a lot of acres up there. And please, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. I will give you plenty of time to talk. Well, I'll give you 3 minutes anyhow. But I did interview her. Her family and in-laws own quite a bit of property up there, and I really take offense that, I hear some stuff that this board and the planning commission don't represent or care about the people in horse country. That couldn't be farther from the truth.
Right.
Hey, wait a minute. Either you're going to raise your hands or we're going to clear this place.
That is untrue.
It doesn't mean raise your hand and talk. You have an opinion, I have an opinion. Thank you.
We know your opinions.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Raise your hand, or I'm going to ask you to leave. I will call on you. We're going to act like ladies and gentlemen here. Did somebody have their hand up around here? Has it been voted on? Okay. But, so I interviewed Meg about a month ago, and since then, she's attended planning commission meetings, reviewed the master plan, ordinance 67A, to prepare for the appointment. And I think she'll be a great asset to the planning commission.
Not to represent horse country. Wrong.
I'm gonna warn you too, one more time. If not, I'm gonna ask you to leave. I don't want to do this. I want you to be here.
I'm not leaving.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Please.
Mr. Dunn, I have my hand up.
I'm still talking.
Speak before you cut us off to go on to the next subject, which was appointing people. I didn't get my chance to speak at the right time.
But you're gonna raise your hand too.
I did.
You're gonna raise your hand to be told to come up here. I will get to all of you. Let me finish. Jeez. So I did interview her, and I think she'd be a great representative to the planning commission. So I'm going to recommend to appoint Ms. Megnoff to the planning commission for a 3-year term commencing January 1st, 2019 and expiring December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Been moved and supported. Yes.
I think some people may not understand how this process works. For a planning commission appointment, it can only be somebody recommended by the supervisor. You could put out Santa Claus. If Supervisor Dunn doesn't recommend Santa Claus, doesn't mean anything. The only thing we can do as trustees is look at his recommendation as a planning commission appointment. If he doesn't recommend anybody, you can't consider anybody else but who he recommends. Now, our role in this is to either vote yes or no for Mrs. Knopf. That's our role on that. Either we think she's going to be a good representative, we don't think she is. That's our role there.
Now I'm going to call on the people that were kind enough to raise their hands. So raise your hands now.
You've already made the vote.
No, we haven't voted. We haven't voted. That's why I stopped. I wanted to give you time to talk.
All right, again, Jenny Benson, 3270 Barber Road, Oxford. I love the Knopfs. I don't have a problem with them in the neighborhood. They do not represent horse country. None of them are horse people. None of them have ever showed up at any of our horsey events. The hunt country specifically, even in the master plan, talks about mostly farms, mostly horse, an equine community, mostly horse people. The Knopfs do not represent horse people. I don't know of any of the horse people that even knew them. And they're developers, which is anti-hunt country. They don't represent us. We've offered you a couple people. You know Callie, she's obviously the most experienced person. Mm-hmm. I know you don't like working with her. She certainly does a great job of representing us. Mm-hmm. And Amanda's going to be smart as a whip. You know, she could also be considered for this, that represents us. We are the people that live here and vote and pay your salaries. And we'd like you to listen to us when we talk about who we should have on the board, not just someone you handpick that's going to go along with your agenda. That's the problem. That's the problem that we've got with the planning commission right now.
There is no agenda. Is that it?
We'd like Callie or Amanda in.
Okay. Thank you. Somebody back there? Bruce?
Bruce Myers, 3100 Delano. I'll summarize some things to keep it very short. I could be listing a lot of the Michigan statute. McCallie's been a representative for 24 years. She's gone through training as a master planner. She's gotten Planner of the Year awards. She's done a lot of work for the community. She's very well versed. And bottom line is, you are supposed to appoint the person most qualified and most representative of an area. And I don't know who else you would find that would be more qualified and has knowledge. One of the issues is minutes from Planning Commission. You don't have a history when you go through the minutes. Before I used to tell you about, you had no defense in case of a lawsuit that it would ever come up. But now I'm saying that you don't have a history that anybody new on the board or a planning commission is not going to be able to go through and look at 2, 3, 5 years ago, what happened, what brought them up to speed. She has the memory from, going back 24 years. She knows these things. Anybody new, I don't care how good they are, they just don't have the memory of the history of that and no way of obtaining it. Without her, we lose the history. But she's also the best qualified for the position. When I go through Facebook, of all stupid things I know, and I look at my friends list and all that, I look and I don't see Meg. I don't know her, so I don't know if it's good or bad, but I look and she's not a friend of anybody I know that's any of the horse country friends on there. She's not a friend of anybody on any of my friends list. I have no idea how she can represent horse country without having any input or any working in the community. Nobody's heard of her before. And in horse country, that's not good. Everybody knows everybody, or knows of them.
I would hope anybody we put on the planning commission would not only represent horse country, and I'm sure our planning commissioners do, they represent the entire 36 square miles. Did you want to answer anything on the minutes?
The minutes are available. I mean, they go back for many years.
Any of the minutes from the PC meeting?
I guess I'm going to call on you to come
Not
up.
the one yesterday, but the one from a month ago that they had. 8 or 10 of us spoke at that meeting. Deanna wrote one paragraph that was just a jumble of words, made no sense, that was supposedly what all of us said. The minutes are awful, to put it mildly. Incompetent, more likely. One committee meeting that I went to and I spoke at, she didn't even have me listed as somebody that had spoken. They're awful. They make no sense. The minutes are not, shouldn't even be talked about. Maybe these videos are the only thing that we can look at, but the minutes are just incompetent completely. You already voted on Mr. Berger, but at the very least, having someone that is paid by the township, especially a building inspector, would be a huge conflict of interest on the board, on the planning board, and I do believe that it says something about it in state law. I know you've got your attorney that tells you what you want to hear, but I don't think it's necessarily the truth. What were we just talking about Callie, that each member of the planning board is supposed to obviously look at the entire community, but each of them, by law, is supposed to represent each segment of the community. Mm-hmm. So the horse community is one of those segments, and if the person who's in that area, just because she lives near the agricultural area, not even in the agricultural area, but near it, doesn't mean that she is going to be representing us, the people that actually do live there.
Hi, Hi, my name is Julie Barlia. I'm at 2514 Rock Valley,
Where's that at?
Metamora, but I pay Oxford taxes, which are very high.
School taxes?
School taxes, yep. So 3 times that of Metamora. And Oxford as a city leaves a lot to be desired. We have vacant building after vacant building, and there is not a lot to offer. One of the things that we do have to offer is horse country, and I think you guys should pay attention to what's going on here, because we are paying your salaries, and I'm curious why you don't want to have Callie reappointed or take into consideration Amanda. Why are you so closed-minded? I mean, do you not have to offer any of your opinions of?
I have no comment on that.
No comment.
He doesn't like strong women.
Go ahead.
I mean, I've said really all I want to say, but I find it hard to believe that person after person stands up and pleads their case, and nobody on the board has nothing else to say or no consideration to what we're feeling as a community, and you don't think that it's valid or that you feel okay with making these decisions and fattening the pocketbooks of maybe Mr. Dunn or whoever else has special interest in electing Meg and supporting House of Providence. It's despicable. Yep.
I'm going to say one more time, I have nothing to do with House of Providence. I never had a conversation except being introduced to the owner or whatever he is. No one. I'll give anybody $1,000 that they can show me where I've had any contact, emails, phone conversations, nothing. That's an absolute false statement. It's not coming from me. And when I did answer that letter from the state, they asked me what I thought, and I said, in the past, we have followed state law. In the future, we will continue to follow state law, period. Very innocuous statement. There was nothing, we said nothing as a township on supporting House of Providence, whatever they are. Not one word did we say. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for raising your hand.
My name is Janine Clayman. I live at 5474 Barber Road. These are my neighbors, and these are the people who are active in horse community. I wonder why it is that Meg, who none of us know, although this is a very tight-knit community who works together to try to keep horse community intact, why has she not taken enough of an interest in this to be here today? Because all these people are taking an interest to be here repeatedly, and no one is listening. So all we're trying to say is, we're offering up 2 people, both of whom are highly qualified, one of whom has enormous experience in this area and in this position. We would like to see someone who actually understands and participates in, with whom we have some relationship, who engages in the same kind of activity and equine businesses that are valuable to all of us. I moved here from Chicago for the equine community here. And I'm not at these meetings a lot, but I have to say that I am appalled at the absence of listening. What is wrong with the community offering up qualified people who they feel represent their interests and asking to have a representative voice in the decisions of their own community? What is so wrong with that? Why does everyone sit here so silently and explain to us that it is irrelevant if the supervisor, who I've never met and have nothing against, does not tend someone's name for a post on the planning commission? They are invalid. We're all sitting here for no good reason. We all come and attend and try to participate in this democracy, and it's irrelevant that we're here and that we're offering qualified individuals to represent us, to be our legal voice in this area. I don't think it's okay, Joe, that you explain to us that that's irrelevant. I don't think it is irrelevant.
I'll explain the law to you if you like.
Well, you can explain the law to me, but what I'm saying is this is a participatory democracy. People are here trying to participate and be heard.
You could do that as a as a person sitting in the audience, you can go to every planning commission meeting. It takes 4 votes to get anything done at the planning commission. If any representative
We
from
are
Horace...
participating. We're here participating, and we're here saying, we don't even know this individual who you say it represents our community. I've been here since 2005. I moved here. I've been here now for 13 years. I live right up the street from this person. I have never seen her at a single equine function, fundraiser, anything. So I don't understand what makes her more qualified than the people who we do know who are active in this sector of Oxford and this community. And I'm standing up to say so because I have no other axe to grind. I just don't understand why qualified people are ineligible to represent us. Thank you.
Call for a vote. Call for the vote.
Roll call or?
Roll call.
Roll call. Trustee Dur?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Can I say something?
Yes.
The issue is, and thing I think unfairly, is Mrs. Novsky has been malaligned. She's been in the Oxford-Leonard area her whole life. She didn't come from Chicago. She didn't come from another area. She's been in the area her whole life. I'm 51. She's sorry, I won't call it back, around where I'm at. 51 years. She didn't just come to the area. And she lives out in that area. I encourage everybody to talk with her. If you got issues with her, talk with her. She's a very reasonable lady. Like Bruce mentioned about knowledge of the past. Meg has all the knowledge from the 80s and the 90s. But go ahead and talk with her.
Okay, bang that gavel.
Trying to
You don't care.
I don't know that part. You'd have to check with her on that.
You should all be really embarrassed. Disgusting. If you don't listen to the people in the community, you're violating responsibility, duty, ethics, morals. You should be embarrassed.
Pardon?
Embarrassed to not listen.
You should be taken off to jail. Yeah. You guys are so crooked, you don't give a crap. You don't do anything for us. We've been pleading with you for 2 years. And you're just standing up, you just sit there so cocky.
We'll answer all your questions.
No, you just voted in somebody against all of our wills for our country. Where do you live? Why don't you come on over there and check what we have going on? I bet you've never even driven down those roads. You don't know anything about us, and you don't care. And do not sit there and try to tell us that you care about us.
I've been going through this since 2005.
Okay, let's move on.
Well, it's time you turned in your resignation because you can't manage this township.
Yeah.
You're in financial distress based on what we've read. Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Seymour.
No, we're not.
Okay,
Not
we're
in financials
through.
is me.
I'm going to ask.
I can do the financials.
I'm going to ask everybody if they're not going to participate. We have work to do. I'm going to ask you to leave.
Mr. Chairman,
Nothing new.
if I could just
Turn in
make
your
one statement.
resignation.
Hey, what's wrong with all you people agreeing with him?
Let me just, hold it.
You can't
Ma'am,
stand
let
up
me say this. You have attacked this gentleman who is a Vietnam vet who gave up his life. He fought in Vietnam. How many people have?
He's narcissistic, he is about...
Unless you're sitting in that chair, you don't know.
I wouldn't play that card.
And he has to
There's a lot of
follow
Vietnam
laws and
vets out here.
regulations, just like you folks do.
You want to do that? We can play.
Otherwise, your community is going to fall apart.
That is bullshit. Oh my God.
Let's go.
You just cocked the rifle that will kill the goose that laid the golden egg. You just screwed it.
Yep.
I didn't know I had a golden
We're
egg.
not done with you, okay? We are not done with you.
As far as supporting the horse country, I've always done that. Ask anybody here. I talked to the planning commission.
Thank you for your vote.
You didn't do squat.
I didn't. One vote wouldn't have made a difference. Would not have made. I didn't do this against you. I did this for the full community, not for just a short group.
The whole community of horse country, eh?
Yep.
Why do you want us to leave? Because we speak the truth, and we're sick of it. We don't care. Throw us out. We're sick of you and all your lies and all the crap that's going on down there. We're tired of it. Do you know you brought us to this point? We're done. We are done being patient and coming in here and you canceling all the meetings, one after the other. You don't.
I don't cancel meetings.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
And who approved that 8,000 square foot home on the hot property with a dormitory bathroom? Oh, we didn't know that. We didn't see that.
Okay, we'll answer all your questions.
Oh,
later.
yeah. Oh, chew us out. Yeah, okay. Whatever.
Ethics is something you do not recognize.
Is this my person here?
We'll be back.
Why doesn't she speak?
She doesn't have
Her
to.
connection with the community.
Come on.
We don't even know who she is. Right here. Yeah, tell us how many horses.
See, that's what I'm.
Oh,
All right. Hey, that's enough. Hey, I'd like the room cleared, please. Because we have.
There's no reason to attack her.
There's no reason for you to attack somebody.
Put your tablet down.
She doesn't need to speak to you.
He doesn't have to
Look
ask
at how
any of your questions.
Look at how contentious you are. You're so contentious. Would you speak to this group of people that's this angry and this contentious? I would not.
How does she represent us?
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
This is not the forum.
hey,
Anger is a response to your response, ma'am.
I'm going to ask everyone to politely vacate if you're not going to hang in for the rest of the meeting.
And I'd like to politely ask you to step down.
Yeah. Yeah, please step down.
Listen for a minute. Lieutenant Patterson with the sheriff's office, okay, he's provided everybody an opportunity to speak. They made their decision. He's asking you to leave. Your behavior is going to get you guys in trouble, okay? I'll answer your questions. If you have an attorney, you want to file some type of civil action, you have the right to do so. Okay?
You had the fire department people come up, introduce themselves so we know who they were.
Sir, I'm speaking.
I am too. I am too. I think it'd be appropriate to have her come up so we know who our representative is, because we don't know who she is otherwise.
It's already done.
But we would like to know who our rep is, at least introduce her, so we know who we can see on the street.
Call for a recess. Get it out of here.
It might be voted, but we'd like to know who she is.
You have a right, sir.
No, she doesn't want it. It's done.
You have a right.
He says he's a cop. He's not in the
I do not.
so I don't.
Badge, please.
Everybody knows
Okay.
who I am, and you know who I am.
I don't know who you are.
I just told you who I was, sir. I said I'm Lieutenant Patterson with the Old County Sheriff's
As a
Office.
police officer,
You
I
can't
think you
sit
have a
there
right.
and...
Did you say
We'll get all
Macomb?
the uniform guys up here if you want.
Did you say Macomb or
You're right,
Oakland?
Oakland County Sheriff's
Okay.
Office. We've spoken.
You need some help,
Met.
Frank?
You know exactly.
You need some help?
Okay, I'm trying to keep this calm before everybody starts getting emotional.
Bill, motion
You've had
for
an
a
opportunity to
recess.
speak. You've done that, you voted on. He's
Take a recess.
clear.
And that's why I'm speaking calmly. That's why I'm not doing anything bad.
Well, you have been, but a lot of other people are very emotional.
Because
and I
we're
get
sick
it.
of 2 years of him
And that's not
not
going to get
listening.
solved right now. They voted on it, they have the right to vote on it, now he's asking you to clear the room. You're just going to get yourselves in trouble.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Please. Thank you.
Good thing we have a lawyer.
You have that right, man.
Sorry, Nick. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
They were just serving it. It was getting bad.
You want the load down here first?
Not many, I kept asking.
That's why I said
Brandon,
Dryden, Metamora.
Is Matt still here?
That's what I said, because I think I'm saying here. Yes. It's Brandon. No, it's It's not us, though. It was a Metamora.
Yeah.
Metamora.
One was Dryden.
Yeah, I have.
The Unisys one.
Metamora.
We had Dryden, we had Metamora, Galvin, we had
And Jim Medina, Oxford.
and I could be direct from Queensland.
You know, most of the stuff.
I don't remember who that is.
She said that's like,
That's what we kept it rational, chatting. Right. I wish they would have come up and said why the candidate that he proposed.
I wish they would've came up
Lieutenant?
2 months ago.
Would you, would you close that door so we can have the meeting, please?
I'm just saying this person doesn't know the area. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's been 15 years. Right. Between Leonard and I. Okay. Not 13 years. So she knows the area.
Okay, on to the budget amendments. Is there any questions on the budget?
Board of Review.
ZBA Board of Review.
I'm sorry.
I make a motion to appoint Todd Walters, James Butler, and Corey Bailey to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 3-year term commencing January 1, 2019, expiring December 31st, 2021.
Speaking of the mic.
Support.
It's been moved and supported.
Yeah, I think it's
Roll call.
That's fine.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
I can find the seat.
Now are we on?
Board of Review.
It's on the sheet.
Proposed.
I'm sorry, I'm still kind of flustered. I just want to say one thing. Meg, I apologize. I mean, I feel bad that you had to hear all this. It just kind of grinds me a little bit that at least people should give you a chance on the planning commission. And as
They
you're
will.
there,
They
if
will.
they're unhappy, at that time, do that. It just really bugs me that nobody's giving her a shot. And when she gets up there, if she makes decisions that the cross country doesn't like, bring it up there. Say, Meg, we disagree with you. Not to even give somebody a chance. It's been a lifelong area resident. I mean, let our votes speak for themselves. Okay, I'm done with that. I make a motion to reappoint Melvin Kreiderman, Jan Drogosh, and Karen Fitch to the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Review for a 2-year term commencing January 1, 2019 through December 31st, 2020.
Support.
Moved and supported. Let's do roll call again.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the budget amendments. Any questions on the budget amendments? We just clearing up. Yes, Marge?
I would like to bring up the MERS situation again.
Okay.
We have, in our initial conversation, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, on how we're going to, over a period of time of 10 years, correct this situation of being underfunded. We discussed putting money into, paying money to MERS each year out of our general funds. Our general fund sits at 1.4 million, almost 1.5 million right now, the fund balance. And I would like to see us move 200,000 to pay 200,000 to MERS.
You know, I totally agree with you, but do you think it would be wise to wait until the audit
No,
with this in mind?
no, I don't, because.
Want to think about it?
No, no. Because
Support.
then we're a year behind, and we've had a year and a half, and the compounded payment.
I get that.
I'm going to be coming back next year. I'm going to hit this every year to make the MERS payment, because we have to cover that deficit.
Okay, according to this, the budget, we're going to have a 1.48, I don't have it in front of me.
1.497.
Well, I knew it was,
1.483.
Yeah,
so if we do that, we'll be taking it right out of there.
yep.
Is that the board's pleasure to?
I think it's
Yeah,
a wise decision, Bill,
Looking at MERS,
to
I
at
think
least
I agree
capture
with her
what
that-
they're
You're both
taking
up,
out.
two people.
Yeah, looking at mirrors, I believe that we should do something also. I agree with her. We should try
Also-
to pay it down.
I think we at least put $180,000. I believe that's the amount that the previous employees have been, the retired people have been taking out, the Jack Leroy's and all the others.
Margie Payne's.
Margie Payne, another one.
We've already put 200,000 from last time to cover that.
That was hers, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the minimum we should put in is that, to at least keep them even.
I thought you want to put money into safety pass.
So you want to put the 200,000 plus the 180? Is that what you're saying?
You guys are killing me. Let's go, just remember that, and we'll do this one motion. Do you guys have any problem with the general fund?
I move to approve the 2018 amended general fund budget 101 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $3,259,188. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported, yes.
you need to amend the motion, just a point of order that you already moved $400,000 out of the fund balance, so you're down to a little over $1 million. And you need to amend the motion to move $200,000 from contingency account 101-299-890.000 to contribution to fire department account 101-901-965.
That's if we're doing it now.
No, that is from the deputy supervisor that said if you don't do this now, you'll be calling a special meeting because the motion will not be correct as you stated.
So this isn't the correct one here in the packet?
No, because she didn't know that was.
She didn't know that we're gonna drop 200,000.
Oh, this is the new 100, not the old 200.
There was no old 200.
No, there was
We
no.
put 200 in a couple years ago, didn't we?
That's
Well,
already,
that was,
that's already counted for.
But that motion, Chris, is assuming we're moving the 200. My motion says just to adopt it.
Well, you have a motion and a second on the floor, so you.
Because not that I don't disagree with you, Margie. I want to wait till Raina comes in after this audit to make sure that's where we stand. And I have no
Well,
problem with something.
Just letting you know.
you have a motion and a second. So if we vote yes on this, then we can't, we're not moving the money.
The money will not move according to what I've been
So-
informed.
That's my prep. Not that I don't agree with you, Margie. My preference is to wait till Raina
You
comes back.
have almost $1.5 million. Even with your audits, you're not going to, the variation is not ever been that great. It will not be that great.
But Bill may
$1.5
want to do
million.
safety pass, so we got to keep that open.
Well, we'll wait for that.
Next year in December, when we ask for, when we suggest another 200,000 to put into MERS, you'll say, wait till the audit again. Are we going to keep waiting until the audit? Is that?
I mean, that's what I prefer to do, just so I can verify my
Audit doesn't
numbers.
come until, it's anywhere between April and June.
Understood. And I understand what you're
And
saying.
that's a possible 6-month loss of compounded interest.
I get it.
So,
Okay, chief, come on up. Thank you for raising your hand.
Want to check, make sure nobody rushed in front of me. Joe, just a little clarification on that. As Supervisor Dunn mentioned, there's over close to $190,000 that goes out every single year out of our funds for the former police department. And that's going to continue on for
Former police and fire.
to fire. But the majority, like I said, is former police department. And if we don't continue to do something, the $200,000 each year and or more, we're still spiraling into the cesspool deeper and deeper and deeper if we don't continue every single year, at least covering that portion that's going into to pay out to the former police officers. So that's why it's extremely important to at least try to maintain at least the 200,000, if not more, every single year, as opposed to skipping a year. Because if you don't put anything in for 2018, then we haven't put anything in. I take that back. We did put in the money that you put in over from the Stony Lake taxes, but otherwise, that's it. So it's extremely important that we continue to fund that every single year.
Okay, it's been a motion and it was supported. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
no.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Ho, 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 ho.
What motion was that then?
Well,
To adopt the budget.
About the budget as presented.
With the $200,000?
No, that's without the
No.
200,000.
this would do it.
You guys had all these sidebars that I didn't hear that on.
That's why I went, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Thank you.
You lost me.
Maybe I'd like to rescind my vote, Kurt, because I don't understand the motion. There was 3 conversations going on about,
I was mixed up with you.
yeah, and Bill recognized my mix-up.
No, I was mixed up too.
Oh, okay.
I recognized both of our mix-ups.
We probably,
So this,
We have a yes, no.
A little frazzled.
Treasurer Ferrari, your vote.
Yes.
Yes.
What are we
Supervisor
voting?
Dunn.
Jack can't check.
I don't know what the motion is.
The motion is as presented to approve the 2018 amended general fund budget with
With $3
revenue,
million and change.
with no changes.
I'm gonna say, would you vote, Marge?
No.
No.
Clerk Wright, no. Trustee Dur.
No.
And Trustee Nichols.
No.
Want to try a new motion?
Okay. I move to approve the 2018 amended general fund budget with revenues and expenditures
Keep the same thing, Margie.
Okay.
Put in it that you're moving 200,000 from contingency
Okay.
over to contribution to fire fund.
Balancing at $3,259,188 and attach the spreadsheet as an appendix to the minutes with the added expenditure from general fund account 101-299-890-000 contingency in the amount of 200,000 to account 101-901-965-213 contribution to fire department.
Support.
Moved and supported.
You got it.
Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Did you have something to say, Joanne?
Smart.
Let's move on. We got another budget here, Joe.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So I just moved that money then over to the fire department for us?
Okay, you make that transfer.
I'll go over to them.
And then they pay MERS.
Then I'll pay MERS. Okay, just so I know the admin part of it all. Hold on here. We got a bunch of budgets in here.
What's next, the road fund?
Page 13, road fund.
Road fund, Joe.
Sorry, I'm not going quick enough. Still a little flustered. Try to get myself together.
It's cigarettes.
We're all blended together. Is it road we're on? Okay.
No.
Make a motion to approve the 2018 amended road fund budget 204 with revenues and expenditure balancing at 371,166. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2018 amended police contracting fund budget 205 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $2,836,810. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Clerk Wright, yes.
I make a motion to approve the 2018 amended cemetery maintenance fund budget 209 with the revenues and expenditures balancing at $9,628. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
And Trustee Dur.
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the 2018 amended telecommunication fund budget 239 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $38,281. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
And Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes. I make a motion to approve the 2018 amended safety path fund budget 297 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $154,749. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. He didn't slip 100,000 out of there, did he?
Not yet.
I would be going into it, not out of it.
Pardon?
Oh, you want another 100 going into it?
That's what I meant, into it.
Wouldn't be coming out.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis.
Yes, but I'm going to excuse myself from the meeting now.
Not feeling well?
No, my legs kind of pulled up that, and I didn't take my drugs today because I knew I'd go to our meeting.
I'd like to make a motion, the 2018 amended building and site fund budget 471 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $358,969. That's your spreadsheet appendix to the minutes.
Second the motion.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Did I get them all? I want to make sure I didn't miss one.
That's it.
You got them all.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's see where we're at here. I'm flustered here myself.
Yeah, takes a little while.
Let's see if we can pay these policemen or these Sheriff Department, guys.
I move to approve the Oakland County Sheriff's Office 2019 to 2021 Law Enforcement Services Agreement with the Charter Township of Oxford as presented. Authorize Supervisor William Dunn and Clerk Curtis W. Wright to sign the agreement on behalf of Oxford Township.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Payne.
Yes.
You guys are going to get paid for 3 years anyhow. Let's move on to marijuana.
Please.
Yeah, right.
Say that out loud.
I move to authorize Attorney Rentrop to provide a draft ordinance to prohibit recreational marijuana establishments from locating the Charter Township of Oxford to the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees for first reading at the January 9th, 2019 regular meeting.
Support.
Moved and supported. We'll do support by Margie.
Sorry.
Let's do a roll call.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
On to the no-has. This is you, Joe.
I move to accept the 2019 North Oakland County Hazardous Waste Interlocal Agreement, the Oakland County and the Charter Township of Oxford as presented. Authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the agreement.
Moved and supported.
Second.
Seconded. I think roll call.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
I move that the Charter Township of Oxford shall notify Oakland County that will not charge a $10 participation fee per resident. The cost for participation shall be paid by the Charter Township of Oxford.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I move to approve the North Oakland Household Hazardous Waste Consortium resolution as presented. Hereby appoint Joseph G. Ferrari, Treasurer, as the official representative for the Charter Township of Oxford to the No Hazard Advisory Board for 2019.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Move on to the pension plan. This is a tough decision here. We're going to have to pay less.
Oh, gee.
I move to approve the pricing reduction for the Charter Township of Oxford John Hancock pension plan service fees and approve the Wilshire Association Incorporated 3 in parentheses 21 advisor services agreement. Authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the documents on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
Moved and supported, hopefully.
Second.
Thank you, Elgin. Moved and seconded. We've been doing roll call. Do it again.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dur.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
I move to approve the canvass of votes for the November 6, 2018 general election for the Charter Township of Oxford as presented. Include them as an attachment to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? On to the meeting schedule?
Question.
Yes.
I thought you had requested, wasn't it you that requested that the November meeting?
13? Yes.
Yeah.
And Joe, you would like to consider starting at 6:30?
Yeah, that was mentioned too. I think that's a good idea if everybody would like to do that.
It works for me.
I'd like to make a motion that the Township Board meeting schedule for 2019 is adopted with the following changes. The November 13th, 2019 meeting will be November 20th, 2019, and the meetings will now start at 6:30 p.m. instead of 7 p.m. Should we move Planning Commission, everybody else up too?
Let them call it.
Okay, that's just for Township Board.
Been moved
Support.
and supported. Any other questions on the time change? Date change? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Public? No, we've done that. Public comment? Any public comment? We did that. We did it. Any comment? Board of Trustee comment? We'll start with Margie.
I'm just hoping the sheriff's department hangs around until we get to our cars. I know that sounds funny, but I'm serious. Well, it scared me.
They're very passionate.
I understand
And
they're passionate.
You know what? I'm passionate about who I put on the planning commission. I really am, and I expect them, just like, to represent everyone. I think some things were said that aren't quite true tonight, and I hope to answer a lot of those questions for everyone.
That makes sense of it. We live out the same area. We have 100 acres in Hennessy Township right behind the Township. It's very passionate, which is all for people.
Well, you know, there was something brought up about us contaminating that piece of property. That was not our call. That's the state of Michigan's call. But, you know, that stuff is never brought up.
That makes sense.
And I can assure you and anybody else in the audience that if I smelled a rat, these people have known me for 20 years, I would bring it up and yell it from the highest mountain. And I think you guys would probably agree with me. This board and the planning commission they're solid. They don't do anything unethical, and we wouldn't even think about it.
We're trying to make sense of why everybody's so angry about the situation.
It's generally the House of Providence. And I'm serious about the statement I made that I've never had any contact, and I'll say it again, with the House of Providence.
We believe you.
I'm just telling everybody, and I'll keep telling it, I have never contacted anyone on the House of Providence. I met the owner, or Mr. Dunn, one time when he was coming in here, and that's it for so them saying that is not true. And as far as me coming and saying the township board recommends, say it's fine for them to switch the number, when I say, and this is exactly what I told, I'll be more than happy to get the letter for you, that the Township of Oxford in the past has followed state guidelines, and the township in the future will follow state guidelines. There was no recommendation. I wouldn't never do anything like that in using the township without their permission. That was so bland. We're sworn to uphold the ordinances.
We're just reeling from the gravel pit issue that we come off of recently, our area is very precious.
And you know what? Everybody in this board knows that. They really, really do.
We're family, we're just trying to make sense of the whole thing. We got people that are very passionate, very outspoken about it. We're just trying to make sense of it. We're in Addison Township, and we're saying, hey, we have 100 acres, and we restored a house that was built in 1860. We've got portions, I'm one of the masters of Metamora hunt myself. I rode this morning in our hunt country. We ride 2 days a week. We go carriage drive. There's all kind of activity out there that's sort of related. We're just concerned that it's going to change.
I know board members have gone out to some of their events, whether it's Gary, who was at the big Gary Woods. We have board members that go out there. They go to the stuff in Metamora. So to say that we're not thinking about the hunt club or that area, it's not. I feel I've said that was my things to say. Joe,
Marty's finished.
You finished I'm sorry for interrupting you. But I had to get that out.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, everyone.
Is there a way to get a copy like one of those motions here on that one on the marijuana direction?
See me after the meeting, I'll take care of you.
I was trying to get the position.
Well, we can explain it real quick that, with the new law, excuse me, maybe you should.
I have it here.
That, if you don't have an ordinance in place at a certain time, it's allowed.
Yeah. And give it to.
Marijuana to be in your community.
Facilities.
You want to read
Recreational.
Kurt,
Yeah, it's like.
want to read it? Okay, can I have that book back when you're done?
I can make a copy.
Yeah, we opted out.
I have it probably.
And that's what I wanted to know, that's not the recreation. Because I was, I'm from the Golden Lake area, and I just lost my job as an engineer all my life. and I'm just looking at starting a small business. And so I think we should, the state, whether it be medical, marijuana, whether it be centers, and trying to find out what communities around me are going to allow them, because I don't want to invest all my money, my savings, and all time to go to the state. For it. And that's why I just wanted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to, I brought everybody else to the front. I have no more comment. Joe?
Thank you. Yeah, the tough thing with the whole horse country thing, it's kind of hard going back on it. I think we should have understood that there's some that were speaking that were our community, our residents, and that those people have passion, and we want to listen to them as well. But some of them, it's a whole conglomerate area. Some of them, like the person that they wanted to serve on the planning commission, I'm sure she's smart as a whip.
She's an attorney.
That's not the point. The point is she doesn't live here. She lives in Addison. I think she'd be great. Build on Mr. Kupski's property. Build a house and live there.
She owns 100 acres right there.
Yeah. But to me, once you start that slippery slope, appointing people that don't live in your community, you go, I want somebody in Trenton to serve on my board.
Or I buy a lot in Lake Orion, just a lot.
Where does that stop? Well, I own, my grandparents had a farm over in Ray Township. They owned like 300 acres. Can they serve on it too? No. To me, that should only be reserved for residents. I think it was very presumptuous of them also to say that the person that the supervisor chose was not qualified. I thought that was very presumptuous. And I understood where Mrs. Knopf's coming from. I probably wouldn't have done that either, coming up there and just getting right in the middle of the fire.
No.
To me, go to the planning commission, see her, give her your opinions, how you feel on the different areas and all that. Talk to her. But as far as this, pitchforks and shovels, that's just not the way to get anything done. And we had the one resident that had said, well, you guys are broke. That's why I had to step up. No, that's not the case. I'd be the first one to know that. I mean, to state that's just incorrect.
So many misstatements.
No, we're fine financially. We just saw we had 1.4 million left.
And it's unfortunate that some people
And I understand that.
give us that type of reputation.
And it's sad.
Sitting here quietly participating.
And that's what we wanted to have, a quiet discussion.
Okay, Joe, let's
That's all I've got
make
to say.
make your statements and.
I'm done. I'm done.
Curtis?
Yeah, I just have to say that, having sat in your seat before Supervisor Dunn 25 years ago, I can sympathize with what you went through tonight, and I applaud you for handling the situation the best that you could. And having also worked with Meg Knopf as a recording secretary on my behalf, I appreciate her applying, and I know that she'll do the best that she can do for this township, for this community, with the best in her mind and ability. And I really think that these people are acting a lot on emotion. I think there's a lot of selfishness that went on here tonight, not wanting to outreach and see exactly what's going on. I wonder how many of these people have actually outreached to House of Providence to see what's going on there and see what's in their heart. Because it's definitely a season for giving and for holiday cheer. And you know what? I think that Jason Dunn, like Supervisor Dunn, I've only met the man one time, but I know he has the right thoughts in mind. He's ready to leave a legacy, to put these girls that he has under his, under his direction and under his responsibility to take them to a next level in life that they may never have been able to achieve if it wasn't for people like that. So hopefully these people in this community, and I believe that they may come around, may see what's going on, but you know what? Everybody is entitled to their opinion. And also, when we see an attorney that comes up to the podium the first thing tonight, I think that's something that this board needs to be aware of, that this may not be over, but hopefully something good will come out of this. I could go on, but Happy New Year and Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I agree with you, Curtis. Yes. And Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Elgin?
I really don't know where to start because I was so disappointed in the reactions these people had. They didn't show any respect for anyone. And I think that if they see themselves on television, they'll see how childish they really acted. I think the first thing that hits my mind is when they present an attorney right off the get-go Now, don't get me wrong, I love attorneys. My son is an attorney. But they have their own opinions, just like our attorney has an opinion also, and they end up in court and the judge decides if that should happen. But very, very disappointed in the community. There isn't anyone here that doesn't take the responsibility that comes with the residency here first and utmost. And there's no one here that you can say is un-American, because everybody I know of here have contributed a great deal, to the freedoms of this community and the state and the nation. So I sum it all up, I was very disappointed with the reaction and the way they handled it. Very childish.
I'm going to do a do-over and then we're going to get out of here. I would hope those people would start going to the planning commission meetings and stating, what their concerns are. And I'm sure the planning commission is going to listen to them. But when you go in there guns blazing and threatening people and suing, that's no way to get cooperation. If you want cooperation, you can go in there and calmly give your point of view, and I'm sure almost all of it will be listened to. There's no one here that's down on horse country. We're willing to work with them. We understand where you're coming from.
Well, it's our community too. They're part of our community.
Well, I wish they would spend their time, come to the meetings. We want them to come to the meetings.
They're preserved as much as they do.
And as far as the meeting minutes, we do the meeting minutes according to what our attorney wants us to. We don't do verbatim meetings, we do motions, period. That's been told to us, and that's exactly what we're getting.
Because that's how we speak.
That's how through motions.
I make a motion to adjourn.
It's been moved.
Second the motion.
Second, and all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?